Have you ever thought about which game truly changed your life? Not the game with the highest review scores, not the game with the best graphics, and not even the game with the best gameplay. I'm talking about the game that became part of your life, the one that reminds you of your childhood, your friends, your family, or a moment you'll never forget. Today, I want to share 6 games that completely changed my life. These aren't necessarily the greatest games ever made. They're simply the games that left the biggest mark on my heart. Let's start with the very first one. Super Mario Bros. On the Nintendo Entertainment System. When I was a child, both of my parents worked very hard. Like many kids back then, I spent a lot of time at home. And somehow, video games became my best friend. Gaming was completely different from what it is today. There was no online multiplayer, no Discord, no voice chat. If you wanted to play together, your friends had to come to your house. My home slowly became a tiny gaming headquarters. After school, my friends would gather. Someone would be playing, someone would be watching, someone would be waiting for their turn. We laughed together. We cheered together. Sometimes we even argued over whose turn was next. Those afternoons were simple, but they became some of the happiest memories of my childhood. Super Mario Bros. Wasn't just a video game, it became the reason friendships grew stronger. And looking back today, that's something no modern technology can replace. The next game completely changed the way I looked at video games. Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 on the Game Boy Color. This was my very first RPG. And surprisingly, it was also the first RPG I ever finished. Back then, I didn't even know what Final Fantasy was. Many RPG fans started with Final Fantasy. I didn't. Years later, my first Final Fantasy experience was actually Final Fantasy VI on the original PlayStation. After finishing it, I became curious enough to explore the older entries. So I played Final Fantasy V, then 4, and eventually 3. But none of that would have happened without Dragon Warrior. It introduced me to leveling up, buying better equipment, exploring towns, talking to every NPC, and becoming stronger step by step. For the first time, I realized video games could tell long adventures instead of simply testing your reflexes. That discovery completely changed my taste in gaming. Even today, RPG remains one of my favorite genres, and it all started with one tiny Game Boy Color cartridge. If there's one game I've replayed more times than almost anything else, it's Pokémon. The original Pokémon Red, Blue, and Yellow were unforgettable, but for me, the true masterpiece was Pokémon Gold and Silver. Even today, I still can't believe everything Nintendo managed to fit inside a tiny Game Boy Color cartridge. The world became much larger. The graphics improved, the day and night cycle made everything feel alive. Nintendo introduced baby Pokémon, breeding, new evolution methods, and creative exploration. Sometimes you had to move strange trees. Sometimes you had to smash rocks. Sometimes hidden paths only appeared after finding special abilities. Exploring the world became incredibly rewarding. Then came the biggest surprise. After becoming Pokémon champion, the adventure didn't end. An entirely new region opened. I still remember how shocked I was. I honestly thought the game was over, but suddenly there was another huge adventure waiting for me. I replayed Gold and Silver over and over again, mostly because I wanted to experience every starter Pokémon. Back then, there were no YouTube guides, no walkthrough videos. Everything was discovered through curiosity, and honestly, I miss that feeling. Then came a game that completely stole my sense of time. Harvest Moon, Back to Nature. Technically, I had already played Harvest Moon on the Super Nintendo, but Back to Nature felt like a giant leap forward. Instead of saving the world, you simply lived your life. You planted crops, raised animals, made friends, went fishing, cooked food, expanded your farm. Eventually, you even started a family. It sounds simple, but somehow hours disappeared without me realizing it. I would always tell myself, just one more day. Then suddenly, 3 hours had passed in real life. Even today, I honestly believe Back to Nature remains my favorite Harvest Moon game. I've played later entries on PlayStation 2 and GameCube, but none of them captured the same magic. I replayed this game multiple times, trying to build the perfect farm. There was no internet telling me the best strategy. Every secret, every mistake, and every discovery came entirely from my own experience. Looking back, that's exactly why those memories remain unforgettable. Now, let's jump to a much more modern game. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening on Nintendo Switch. This game became special for a completely different reason. To be honest, I've never considered myself a huge Zelda fan. I've played A Link to the Past, Oracle of Seasons, and several other classic Zelda games. They were all good, but none of them truly gave me that wow feeling. Everything changed because of one person, my 5-year-old son. Link's Awakening is a remake of the classic Game Boy game. Compared to Breath of the Wild, it's much easier for younger players to enjoy. Watching my son solve puzzles, figure out enemies, find hidden items, and celebrate every dungeon we completed together became one of the greatest gaming memories of my life. We shared ideas, we laughed together, we celebrated every small victory. Those moments reminded me that video games are much more than entertainment. They become memories. Nintendo has always understood something very important. Its games aren't only designed for players, they're designed to bring families together. And because of Link's Awakening, I now have memories with my son that I'll treasure forever. Looking back, I realized something. None of these games are perfect. Some have outdated graphics, some have old mechanics, some would probably feel slow by today's standards, but none of that matters because these games changed my life. They gave me friendships, they introduced me to new adventures, they inspired my curiosity, they taught me patience, and eventually they created beautiful memories with my own family. That's why I believe everyone has their own greatest game. Not the highest rated game, not the game with the best graphics, not the game with the best gameplay, but the game that changed who you are. Now it's your turn. What game changed your life? Which game brings back memories every time you hear its music? I genuinely love to read your story. Leave a comment below and let's celebrate the games that shaped all of us. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to Virgabali Gaming, and I'll see you in the next adventure.